Well, it's time to talk about movies, and when we do, you got to bring in the guy who knows movies better than all of us. And I would challenge him, but he actually probably has a degree on this thing. His name's Sean Chandler from Sean Chandler Talks About. Sean, it's been a while. There really hasn't been anything really kicking into high gear in the movie theater spectrum, but now that it's starting to, we're bringing you back, and I want to start with this. The Rock has a movie coming out this weekend, The Smashing Machine. But what I find interesting about this is that I feel like he tried making this movie so he could get nominated maybe for an Oscar or a Golden Globe or something like that. Is that what this movie's about for him?
Well, The Rock kind of had a rough spot the last 5 years where it felt like he oversaturated with just the charisma, the overpromises, the swagger. And this feels like him having a little bit of a reality check and saying like, no, I want to be taken seriously as an actor. And so what actors do when they want to try and win awards, be taken seriously, you do a biopic. And that's what this is. It's a biopic about MMA fighter from the late 90s at kind of the rise of the UFC, the Pride competition in Japan. And it's a guy that dealt with addiction, toxic relationship, this violent sport, his own weird quirks. And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson steps into it, and I'd say this is probably the best performance I've ever seen from him because he can't lean into his swagger and his charisma. He actually has to act, and it has a transformative aspect to it, and there is a broad, dynamic, emotional range to it. So he really does give a great performance, probably the best that he's given.
Well, that makes me excited to see it. I mean, when I watch it, it looks pretty good. Now, I know the director behind it, Benny Safdie, who's doing that. He's always being talked about. Maybe he can get an Oscar out of this. I feel like these are like potential Oscar-nominated movies.
I would guess with this film, it's more likely maybe something with the acting. I don't know. Like, we have to see everybody that's up there, and everybody loves a redemption story, so The Rock getting nominated would be a bit of a redemption story. I'll say the movie's parts are better than the whole. That the individual scenes, the performances, the aesthetic is better than the main through line of it. And it just kind of feels like it has all of these interesting ideas, but it's not really focused, and it doesn't feel like we're building to something specific. Even at the end of the movie, I was like, I guess it could have ended here, it could have ended before this, it could have ended after this, because it doesn't have like it's almost like Benny was going so much for authenticity that he didn't want to fabricate a structure on top of it, but in doing so, it just kind of felt like a series of little episodes that we're seeing. So the parts themselves are worth seeing. I did enjoy it, but the better version of the movie would have had that strong through line that kind of built to something more specific.
All right, well, last week we had One Battle After Another, Paul Thomas Anderson film with Leonardo DiCaprio and a star-studded cast. That also trying to vie for, the Academy, hey, check out this film. This is a lot of stars. It's Leonardo. How does that film rank up against this one, Smashing Machine?
I would say that that's the better film overall that does do a much better job of having a through line. What that movie does really well is that it's like really tense. If you watch the trailers, it comes off like a comedy, and that it is that, but it also is this really tense thriller with some awesome car chases. One in particular where they're driving through these hills and it's like waves in the ocean. So just very well directed. Of course, Leonardo DiCaprio is giving an amazing performance, but it does have a really nice, sharp sense of humor inside of it. The thing I wasn't crazy about with the movie is that it deals with political violence in kind of almost a buddy-buddy fashion. It doesn't endorse the activities of the protagonists, who are basically political terrorists, but it doesn't condemn it either. And in the month of September 2025, that made me pretty uncomfortable.
Oh, see, that's the thing. You want to go to the movies to escape realism, and not be put into it.
Yeah, and with this movie, quite literally, there's a part where they attack basically an ice facility with guns at the beginning of the movie. I woke up the day after I saw it, and there's headlines of a sniper opening fire at an ice facility, and it was like, this is a little bit too close to home. This is pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's definitely doesn't work out. Well, that's why you have people like Taylor Swift changing the game, coming into the theaters. Now, this is kind of like a one-off. It's only for this weekend, and it's only at AMC theaters, but I feel like it's in a limited place, only for one weekend. This will probably be the #1 movie over the weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's been quite a few of these kind of limited release events this fall, and I think it's a good idea that when you limit the window of time, you push more people into smaller number of theaters, and you get kind of a packed theater, and it feels like an event. When you go to the movies and it's full and everyone's energized, they're pumped to be there, that's a great theater experience, and that's when people want more of that. They want to go back to that. Like I took my daughters to go see K-pop Demon Hunters when it released in theaters for 3 days a month ago. Packed theater, filled with little girls singing along to every single song, and it was just so much fun. Even as someone that's not the target audience, you do that with Taylor Swift fans this weekend with this album release. There's all the energy and excitement behind all of that. It becomes a communal activity with a crowd where the movie theater becomes like a concert experience. I think these limited events are a good idea.
You know, and the next big limited event that's coming up for me, Back to the Future in theaters,
Yes.
October 31st. I've already got tickets. Are you
It's
going
had
to
to
go?
be the 31st, which is tricky, but my son's like, I want to go see it. So like, I don't think he's seen it beginning to end. And so he'll get to see it in the theater. I can't wait to do it.
Well, great Scott. That gets heavy. All right. Well, hey, Sean, we really appreciate your time this morning. Thanks for coming on. And I'm going to invite you back over on Fox 58 because I got more to talk to you about fall movie previews. All right?
Absolutely. I'd love to do it.
All right. Stick around. When we